13.
Yeah, how does ELA RT interact with the hardware? What does it specifically handle? Kernel. We don't. Actually, RT is a virtual machine which is running on top of the existing operating system, so they don't talk to the hardware directly. But I can tell something about this. But if you want to, like in the phone system, if you try in your D app, running on the phone, you try to access the camera, we actually through the Cordova part. Because I mentioned that in our third or second virtual meeting, we talked about our Trinity is your D app is running in JavaScript. You can use the Cordova plugin to talk to not only for the hardware but also talk to analog ecosystem. So in that case, if you want access to a camera, you just use the Cordova plugin to call just an object and call a function of that. Or you access to the DID system, you also have a object, JavaScript object, and call the function directly. That is very easy. I think the reason we design like that is because there are a lot of developers who know how to use Cordova, but they do not know anything about the Elastos ecosystem. So
right.
In this way, they can just, as long as you know how to use Cordova, you actually know the same way to use the functionality the Elastos can provide to you, the same way.
So one thing I did want to ask you also, and I guess mention, is we're also going to be allowed use the Ionic framework, right?
Ionic is
for the UI.
Yes, we use the Cordova plus Ionic.
Plus Ionic.
It's a pretty typical and very popular framework in the mobile web app industry, so we just use it directly.
Right, and I guess another thing to also mention is the C++ SDK will be available, so any existing apps like Android apps, if you have an app running right now with Android or iOS, you'll be able to use this SDK to talk to the Elastos ecosystem.
And also, if you are a C++ developer, you're trying to make some new components that we don't have it.
Right.
We encourage you doing that, and we give you ELA as a reward. So your code, if you want to go open source, can contribute back to our ecosystem. So that will be a new component that other people can use directly.